Now let's take a look at the activity playing out in the crypto space. That industry kicked off 2024 on a high note as the SEC approved the first Bitcoin spot ETF in the US. This comes at a time when the entire crypto market is eyeing various milestones this year, which are expected to positively alter and impact the space. Country manager at Luno, Christo de Wit, joins us now for an outlook of the crypto space in 2024. Thank you so much for your time, Christo. Before we actually unpack the drivers of performance in the crypto space so far this year, I mean, just looking at the stock market, it's been quite volatile since the year started. Trading, in red territory mostly with a few sparks of green, but really risk aversion has dominated trading so far. How has trading in the crypto space looked like so far?
I think we've seen a very positive start to the year as well. We've had a lot of anticipation coming into 2024 for that ETF approval by the SEC in the US. And I think that optimism was kind of baked in the price movement that we saw. We just before the approval of the spot BTS and upon the approval, we saw a high of around $49,000 of Bitcoin. But when that has now retracted down to around $42,500. But I think altogether still a very, very positive start to the year. We're seeing a lot of momentum. Even the altcoins have grown quite significantly as well in reaction to the news from the SEC, perhaps in anticipation that we could see, an Ethereum ETF launching quite soon as well. But I think definitely a very, very positive start to the year coming out of a quite positive 2023 for the crypto market.
Yeah, well, let's actually unpack the SEC's approval of the first ever spot Bitcoin ETF. What actually does this mean for Bitcoin itself and also for investors, retail and institutional?
So the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF in the US is quite significant because, number one, the US is the largest capital market. We have seen spot Bitcoin ETFs being approved in other jurisdictions, but obviously not of such significance as the US market. The SEC in the US has been quite reluctant to approve this Bitcoin spot ETF. The applications have been 10 years in the running, and there's been various applications throughout this time. However, we did see that this spot Bitcoin ETF applications have been approved to all 11 applicants. And I think what makes it significant is that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in a larger extent is now accessible to a much larger retail market and segment. The ETF, the Exchange Traded Fund, is a familiar investment product to a lot of investors out there. And I think that accessibility makes it quite an exciting development in the crypto market, but also enabling, big investment firms and institutions to also get involved in the crypto space, broadening that accessibility.
Yeah. So what then does 2024 have in store for crypto? Talk us through the events and developments that you are looking out for this year.
Well, coming right off the back of the spot Bitcoin ETF I mentioned earlier, there are talks that we could see potentially an Ethereum ETF launching. That might be quite exciting. Immediately after the approval of the Bitcoin ETF, we saw a lot of surges and price surge coming off the Ethereum price in anticipation of potentially movements in that direction. But another exciting development in the Bitcoin space is that we are running up to a halving event happening later this year. A halving is when the amount of Bitcoin awarded to miners is halved, which then means in terms that the amount of Bitcoin made available in the supply is reduced. And that obviously speaks to the scarcity of Bitcoin. We've seen historically that these halving events have had a positive impact on the market, but all importantly, we always know that, past performance can never be an indication of future performance.
Yeah, there's also been a trend of tokenization. Talk to us about that and paint a picture of tokenization and tokenized assets.
So tokenization is when a real life asset like a house or a car is tokenized and put on the blockchain. And I think this is quite a valuable tool going forward, and we'll see that development grow further, I think, as time comes. When we look at how banks want to get into the blockchain and want to use blockchain technology, JP Morgan last year started experimenting with tokenization by launching their own blockchain. And I think this speaks to a lot of the problems being faced by the banks in terms of the times of transactions. I mean, just the time it takes to purchase a house takes months. When that asset is being tokenized, the value of that asset is placed on the blockchain, and that can make the transaction a lot faster. And I think that speaks to a very, very significant trend that we might see in 2024, but going forward as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and unpacking the developments that we have seen in the crypto space so far, and also what to look out for the rest of the year. That was Country Manager at Luno, Christo de Wit.